Hey friends, it's Ben Jameson with Church Free Spirituality. Thanks for coming on back. So we're in a 3-week series here talking about love. Last week we talked about impersonal love, a loving that we can practice with other people simply because they exist. Recognizing that in the spiritual context, spirit, life, the universe, love, God, whatever you want to call it, is all that there is, and it's expressing as every single life out there, just an individuation of spirit, of God, of life. And so when we look at people from that regard, we can ignore everything they've ever done, said, thought, felt, not done, not said, not thought, whatever, and just recognize that they exist as an emanation of spirit and love them simply from that place. Same thing with ourselves. We exist in that same level, so we can love ourselves simply because that infinite presence of unconditional love, which we call spirit or the universe or God, decided to express as us. So that's the impersonal quality of love that we can practice. We can practice it easily with people we don't know. That's the very easiest way to start practicing it because we don't know anything about them anyway, so you don't have any judgments going on. Now the next level of loving is direct love or personal love. It's when we actually know the person, when we have interaction with them, when we have encounters with them, when we know who they are, and when we have a personal connection. Now this level of loving is a little bit more difficult because since we've had experience with that person, we know what they've done or haven't done. We have our thoughts and opinions about them. We have our judgments about that person. But it's also more personal, right? We've welcomed them in to one degree or another into our sphere of experience. We've opened our heart to them a little bit. Now this doesn't, again, forget about romantic love in all of this. Romantic love is a wonderful quality, that romantic aspect of it, that can be added on to love, but loving itself has nothing to do inherently with romance. So forget about all of that. We're not talking about any touchy-feely stuff at all right now. We're talking about the practice of love as a spiritual practice to enrich your life. So when we come to this level of personal loving, we add richness to it, right? So impersonal love or existence level loving, that has no flavor to it. It's just this generic love that somebody exists and so we can send love to them. Now when we know a person, we can bring in all of the extra colors and the flavors of it. There's a certain way that that person, friend or lover or whatever, makes you laugh. There's a certain way they say things. There's a certain energy or atmosphere or attitude that they bring that allows that loving to have richness to it. So we start with this indirect, impersonal level of loving. We bring somebody into our personal sphere, we get to know them more, and we add the richness of their uniqueness to that experience of loving. So here's how we practice this. It's pretty easy. We go and we have an experience with somebody. So when you're sitting with somebody that you know and love, or that you know and enjoy, look for what the uniqueness is in that experience. Why is it that you enjoy spending time with that person? What are the idiosyncrasies that they have that just tickle you in a way that just makes you glad to be with them? What are these little rich things that we know but we often don't focus on? See, all of these little personal things that we have in relation with these people that make it so much fun to spend time with, that make us want to have them in our personal sphere, we know them inherently. We have an awareness of them, but we often don't focus on them. So by taking the time to really focus on what those things are and feel into the richness that they bring to that very basic level of loving, we get to up-level our experience of love. Now again, last week we talked about practicing towards others and yourself. So again in this week we want to look at how we can practice direct love with ourselves. How can we take our experience of loving for ourselves beyond that very basic level of I exist, so I must be valuable in the universe or the universe would not have chosen to express as me? How do we then take that and add a little bit of richness to it? We can look at the things that we really enjoy about ourselves. Now we're not paying attention to the things that we don't like. Those are going to be there, and we're going to work with forgiveness to clear those out. We're going to work with introspection to find those. We're going to work with all of these different tools, but for right now, all we're wanting to do is look for the things about ourselves that we think are just great. And I don't care how you feel about yourself right now. I don't care how low your self-esteem might be, because believe me, I've been rock bottom as well. And even in those experiences where you maybe feel in a lot of ways completely worthless, there are things that you can find about yourself that are unique and valuable and that you love about you. Doesn't matter what it is, there's something. And you can find it, and you can focus on it, and you can bring the richness that comes with that unique expression of you to your experience of loving for yourself and build it, make it deeper and more powerful. Same thing with other people. So that's what we're doing this week, friends. We're continuing to practice the impersonal level of loving, seeing people out around us and sending them love simply because they exist. But now we're beginning to practice more deeply with people who are in our actual sphere of influence, people who influence us and who we influence as well. Looking for the uniqueness of that person and the richness that we get from that expression and experience of loving with them that is just them. And then looking back at ourselves too and finding at least one thing, but I'm sure if you look, you'll find many that are really wonderful about you and that add a richness that can only come from loving yourself in that direct personal way. Thanks so much for joining us for Church Free Spirituality this week. Be sure to like, share the video, subscribe on YouTube, comment below if you have any questions. I'll answer those there. If you want me to do a video on a specific topic, put that down there as well, and we'll do a video on that in the future. And of course, if you want to go even deeper, Church Free Spirituality, How to Craft a Spiritual Practice Beyond the Bounds of Religion is a book available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere books are sold, so make sure you get your copy. Thanks, friends. Have a wonderful week. Next week, we're going to look at unconditional love and how we can practice that towards others and ourselves to really bring a deep level of richness and self-expression into our experience like never before. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.